Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey. Oh, you're not in
where am I?
focus.
There you
Oh,
go.
here, get next to me. There we go.
Okay. Hey,
Okay.
this episode we had our guests on, Andy and Brad, and Ethan had the idea to try to get Andy to say as many references to Lord of the Rings as he
As
could.
we could get, because I had a little ring, the real One Ring from Lord of the Rings with the inscription and everything. We're going to give it to
He's had
him.
for years, waiting for the right moment, and this was it.
This was it, yeah.
This episode, we're going to try to, that's going to happen throughout it, and then we're going to reward Andy with the ring at the end.
Yep,
if he does actually do it.
Yeah, which he did. But, yeah, so if you wonder why we're doing so many Lord of the Rings jokes, just keep watching. It makes sense.
This week, we're talking about being more naked and even more afraid. Let's send it.
Yeah!
It's gonna get weird.
Hey, welcome to Full Sun Living with your host, Nate Thompson, Ethan Bricker. And guess what? We've got some friends here. We've got Andy, Vincent, Andrew,
guys. Also known as Ted.
Ted. And we've
Ted
got
to me.
Yep.
Brad.
That's
Bradley
me.
Sundberg.
Bradley Sundberg.
Boys.
Bradocious.
It's good to be here.
It's good to have you guys here.
It is.
Before we talk about how good it is to have you guys here,
Let's
why
talk
don't you
about
guys
us.
hit that like button so that the YouTube algorithm can pick up this video? Just do it right now. Hit it
Do
like,
it.
even though you haven't even watched any of this video.
Just like it. You're going to like it. You already
will.
started it.
Yeah.
Like it,
Hit
share it, subscribe it, and comment when we're done.
Yep. Or even while you're watching.
While you're watching.
We don't
Whatever
care.
you want to do.
Anyways, we went on a 45-mile hike in
We
the
did.
Upper Peninsula of Michigan with these gents. And we want to talk
And-
about
And
that.
more gents.
We had a few more gents, but we got a
Yes.
little table here.
Yeah,
fit them all on
can't
the
fit them
table.
all on. Can barely fit these two.
Those broad shoulders on these young fellas.
45 miles? That sounds impossible.
Well, it was last year.
It's like,
So we did it again. If you want to go back through to our listeners on just audio, we got a podcast where last year we did the same
make
hike
it.
and we bailed out. Hey, there's your dog down there. That's weird. There's a window over there, and Brad's dogs are running around.
Oh, both of them.
So
oh, somebody's shooting them now. Oh, they're dead.
They're
They're
dead.
dead now.
Oh, that's
Okay,
really
that's
sad.
over. Let's
And
go.
your dogs are dead.
They
Should
got
we
caught
stop?
up.
No.
Nope. Okay, so we went on this hike. You can listen about it. We ended up not finishing completely just for various reasons. Refer to that one. This year we went back
Conquered.
and we came in ready.
Mm-hmm.
We
Punched
re-geared
it
it.
in the face.
We replanned our campsites. And a couple other friends got
Foot
to come
prep.
with us. Foot prep. Come to find out, feet are important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Your feet are
Brad knew a
important.
lot about foot prep last
Kind of
year.
withheld that
care to
information.
share
Didn't
it
tell
with us.
anybody.
I was doing great.
This
I
year,
was not.
I think we all did good this year.
I did so good this year. Last year was a disaster.
Let's talk about
Okay.
one for you guys. How nice was it to come on the hike?
I thought it was incredible just to spend time with other dudes in the woods, other guys that are trying to follow Jesus like you are, and seeing beautiful nature and sharing it with, there was kids there, older kids. Wait a
All these
second.
little niños running
what
around.
kids? I was like, I don't remember just seeing little children running.
There's some homeless
Like,
kids.
what?
All right, start over
Little
the
boy.
podcast.
And Reese-
There was a boy who could fly. He went by the name of Peter. No,
So I brought my
Andy
son.
brought his
Yes,
son.
there was
that
My two.
little
Brad brought
special
two sons.
Shout out to Seth.
Yeah.
Yes. knocked
Andy's
it
little
out.
stallion that he brought with him.
Yeah, I
Love
brought
that
a wild
kid.
stallion.
Yeah.
Shout out, Seth, if you're
Yeah, and then
cruising
the,
YouTube.
the young bucks.
Yeah, that was great to bring my sons back for the second time. First time not finishing. It was kind of story on the way back home for them. So this way, we're able to finish it out and show them how it's done.
Finished
It's great.
strong. Yeah, it was sweet. So day one, let's maybe just go through
Let's
day
go
by
through
day,
it.
right? So
We
day
drove
one-
up from my house, left, got to the drop site,
yeah.
if you will.
a lot like a certain hobbit that traveled a certain amount of distance. What movie is that? What movie is that from?
Well, I guess it depends on if you're talking about the actual Hobbit, the trilogy of the Hobbit, or if you're going to be doing the sequel, The Lord of the Rings, starting at the Fellowship. Is that? I guess if we want to talk about Fellowship,
I think maybe the more popular one was the Fellowship of the Rings.
Yes.
So yeah, there we were, all of us together on our journey, and we hit the trail in the afternoon around 4:00. We had the first run was 5 miles, just kind of breaking it in, breaking in the boots, and we got to the first campsite, Massey Homestead, North Country.
It's Mass.
American Trail or whatever it was. Mass
Homestead.
There's an E on the end. I like to make it a little more fancy.
church it up a little bit.
Church it up.
Yeah,
Target,
That was my favorite campsite.
Crozier. That was a nice one.
That was my favorite.
So the set.
Because of the sunset.
Yeah.
The sunset was beautiful. After the sun went down and everyone was in their sleeping bags in the night.
That's when it got interesting.
Yes.
So we had
Bear! I'm just like, there's no bear. Go back to bed.
I'm
sleeping.
There's two tents.
Leave me alone, bear. I'm sleeping. I don't think the bear cares if you're sleeping or not.
Tastes better.
The rest of us are in hammocks. We're 48 minutes into lights out. Chuck,
Tent City.
Tent City.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Just me and Chuck.
Two.
Chuck the Buck, the Stallion, Chuck the Stylist yells out. Go ahead, Brad. I feel like you guys have
I was more startled. I think Andy would know more about it, but all I heard was there's a bear scratching my tent.
Screams.
So instead of going into hero mode, I just went into
all the hammocks. Everybody in the hammocks
I tucked in really tight to my sleeping bag and just did not want to move.
And then the silence, to break the silence, Andy, are you okay?
Yeah, because I thought, what the heck is happening? That somebody was in danger, and then everybody went silent. All my coward companions.
Meanwhile,
nobody would find me.
I didn't hear you wrestling around.
I was in the tent closest to Chuck.
So he was
I was literally sitting, like my head's like 2 feet away from his tent. So when he goes, bear, I'm just like, gosh, just go back to bed. I just fell asleep. Just go to sleep.
That's funny because I didn't know that he said bear.
I didn't hear that. Here's the truth from me in real time. I had earplugs in and I was already asleep. I missed all of it. So when I woke up in the morning, you guys were telling the story. I was just like laughing because it was hilarious, but I didn't even know.
He started out. He said, "Hey,
Yeah.
you're scratching my tent. There's a bear scratching my tent."
And I'm just
And
like,
come to find out, there was like little chipmunks running around. It must have brushed against his tent.
yeah, he's just,
Everybody comes like in the morning, like everybody's like up, and then you just hear Chuck's zipper, and it starts. He comes out, and everyone's like, "How you doing, Charles?" And he just like no eye contact. You don't want to make eye contact.
yeah, that was hilarious.
How did you guys feel about your food preparation for the hike?
I thought the food was good. The setup was good. It was light. There's always the balance of trying to figure out how good of food do you want to have or how light of stuff do you want to have. I think that for me, my equipment, trying to get away with cheap instead of, that was more of the tipping point on the usefulness to cost effectiveness ratio for me.
I
spend more.
I also feel like at one point, I feel like you were also just dealing with Seth's ravageness of feeling like
every time I looked at Seth, he was eating, and I was like,
I
we got 4 days, right?
I heard Andy like just dad him at one point, like on day 3. He's like, "Stop eating the freaking food, Seth. You're not gonna have any food for the next day and a half."
Yeah, I actually
and, like,
had to
Seth
say,
was all just like,
you can
mad.
have this at this time. You'll
Like,
be able
just
to have
literally just
these
had-
at this time.
Because he was just like, I'm out here eating. Yeah.
At the first lunch of the first lunch of the second day, he was like, "I'm making ramen." Then he's like, "I'm making potatoes. I'm gonna make another ramen." I was gonna have some tuna, and I was just like, "Where's all this food coming from?"
Yeah, so we had plenty of food for the entire trip. It was just that
6 hours later, you didn't.
this kid was trying to consume it all. Like he was just gonna
Right.
just hide it, tuck it away in his squirrel cheeks or something, and
Just
feed
like
off it
when
for a
they
while.
had it, where they wrapped those breads with the elven leaves.
Lamnis bread.
What movie is that from again?
Well, that one is actually.
If I could be more
Stop
specific,
No, seriously, what movie is that from?
he knows.
Ethan, I'm not a nerd.
Yeah, you are.
Gosh.
It's fine.
What movie is that from?
The Return of the King.
Okay.
Okay. Day 2. Now, here's a fun surprise for a lot of the little campers. Was I just averaged it out that we're doing 5 miles, 12, 12, 12. Day 2 was actually 14 miles. But
Actually, it's
sometimes,
closer to 15.
see, even
It's
there.
like
See how I
14.7
shaded?
or
I tend to
something.
round
The next
down.
day was also
To
based
12.
Even
on
financially, if I'm buying something, I tell Kate.
Trying
like
to
if
get
it's like, say
buy-in.
it's like $190, I say it's just over 100. Like I don't know why I just round down.
Yeah, you got a common denominator.
15 miles, about 12. So day 2, we had about a 15-mile jaunt, but it didn't feel that bad.
No.
We stopped at the lighthouse. What is it, El Sabo?
Oh,
El Sate. No, I
Grand
can't even
Sable.
think. Grand
Let's-
I'm like
let's
El
rewind.
Sabo.
No, that was
El
wait,
Sabo.
wait.
Asabo.
Let's rewind it.
Sable.
Okay.
Sable.
Rewind it to the
Sable
first
Lighthouse,
night
yeah.
when the temperature dropped.
Yes.
So
that was
so
horrible.
it was a
That was like
Yes.
the Mount of Moria.
Oh my gosh! And we. This is going to be a fun podcast. I can
Yes.
tell. So the temperature dropped, and
Do you guys-
cost effectiveness. I've got $10 bags that I got at Walmart
Yes.
on clearance, and they were rated for 40 degrees.
False.
False
40
advertisement.
degrees in like a 70-degree
40
weather.
degrees in a
Yeah.
survival situation.
Can I raise my hand here that I
Get it.
also bought a tiny sleeping bag this time, and it would go down to 55 degrees is what it said, or 50. And I remember telling Kate as I'm like ordering it that it's not going to get that cold. It's the
what I
middle of
said.
summer.
Yeah.
But as we were sitting by the fire, and I remember like systematic like points of like, are we gonna put more wood on the fire? Like I remember just being like, why is it getting so freaking cold out here?
Well, if I can chime in, I brought a sheet from a bed. It got so cold that I wrapped myself in that tinfoil blanket.
Yeah.
So
It's
every
like a
time I move
burrito.
around, it sounded like a burrito package was opening, waking everybody up.
Seth, get out of the food.
That's it again. Get out of there.
Froze the first night.
Yeah. It was cold. First night got down to what, 41 degrees?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
It was supposed to be.
very
I think it
chill.
was supposed to be like 48 or 50, and then
Not in
it dropped
those
down
woods.
on us.
Yeah, it got chilly.
Yeah, especially if I would have known that, I would have worn my shoes because my feet were probably the coldest thing. Like Seth, he didn't even have anything over top of him. He said he had the hole in the end of his sleeping bag, so he said he tucked himself up, brought his like knees way up to his chest, and
Like
would
a
just hold
giant
his feet
fetus.
because he was so cold, like
Like a
giant
larva.
fetus.
Yeah.
Way
And
down.
Connor
Slept in the
Yeah.
dirt.
slept in the
That's my
dirt
boy.
like a mole.
Yeah.
boss.
And he's also the one that woke up screaming that he was sleeping,
Yeah.
which now at that point nobody else is
Nobody
sleeping.
cared. Yeah, he just woke up
he likes to
yelling, I'm
sleep talk
sleeping.
for nothing logical to say, just that
Yeah.
he's sleeping. Woke everybody up while he's sleeping.
Man, that got cold. That was
Yeah.
cold.
And lots of fun little things that you didn't know. For example, I have slept on the ground before. I've slept in a tent before. I've never slept in a hammock before. So if you set up your hammock with a little bit of a
little
tilt to it,
Yep.
you just end up in a scrunched up little
Ball.
ball at the end of the hammock.
The other end,
Yeah.
just like, oh.
Or if you come off of, I put an tiny air mattress in my hammock, and anytime I got off of that, it was like just putting my elbow in like a cooler full of
Can we
ice.
all
Same.
can we all agree
Yeah.
though? Like the hammock was the way to go.
Hammock's the way
'Cause
to go.
First year,
My
what
hammock
do we have?
setup is
4 in
on
Tent
point.
City,
Yeah.
and the rest were hammockers. And then this year we had 2 because the other guys decided. Well, actually, one of them didn't go, but they decided to go to the
Respect it.
hammock, and then
I
this guy
converted
switched
after
over
night
during the
1.
actual hike.
Can we
So
just have
had
a
one
moment of
tenor.
silence for Kevin and Mike couldn't make it?
Boys.
Yeah, so Tent City was a little bit quieter area.
coffee,
We had
yeah.
the one, Ethan bailed on his tent, gave it to Connor, the mole, who slept on the dirt, and then he ended up sleeping in the tent 2 of the nights.
And he wore sandals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so we end up very cold.
Yeah.
But we wake up day 2, 15-mile hike. We hit
That
the
warmed us up.
lighthouse, do a
Hit
little
the
swimming. A
lighthouse.
couple gents jumped in the water.
Yeah, that was really refreshing.
Yeah, Superior, that's a refreshing lake, that one.
If that's what you call 55-degree
Superior
water.
This
refreshing.
guy over here.
Hey, I still jumped in. It was just day 3. I didn't do it that day.
Yeah.
I refused to do it that day. But listen, there was only 3 guys that jumped in that day. Did you go in?
I didn't go
I
in.
did
Did
in
you
the
go in?
afternoon at 12 Mile Beach.
You
I
have more
went swimming because I
padding,
took
too.
my bar of soap and I took my shower or my bath.
It's true.
Like
I have a clip
I
of
was
that
bathing out there.
right there.
Hope you enjoyed that as much as we did.
I didn't. Somebody will. Kate
yeah.
will.
12 Mile Beach. Stopped for lunch.
Is that day 2?
That's day 2. Stopped for lunch.
Yep.
Kept walking. Walked some more. Walked forever. I have 0 memories of the rest of that walk because it was just like a lot of walking that day. And then we finally made it to Turtle Bay. I mean, Trappers
Bay.
Lake.
Trappers.
Trappers
Trappers
Lake.
Yeah,
Lake.
those are the trappers.
Okay.
Trappers.
Trappers
You could
Lake.
trap
Trappers
there.
Lake.
You could trap anything.
Trappers
Yeah.
Lake. By then, our traps were a little tender. Mine
Yep.
were. But we go to Trappers Lake, and people are already set up. Ethan says to me, hey,
Why are
there's
you
a nice-
acting like I'm stupid for this?
You were like,
Hey, it was a
No,
good spot. It was scenic.
Let me finish. He's like, hey, there's a pretty spot right down by the lake. I was like, okay.
And it was
And
pretty.
it was. And we go down there and we're setting up our hammocks like at the edge of the lake. It's pretty. You imagine you're going to wake up and just see like swans swimming around, maybe a crane fly
Turtle or
by.
two. And then I
Then you see
finished my
bubbles coming out of the water.
I finished my ramen and I went into the lake to start washing my dishes. And as I'm washing my dishes, whop! And I'm just
Dinosaur.
like, oh my gosh, what happened? My spoon got full on bit by a snapper turtle.
was a big
snapping
turtle.
It was a Volkswagen.
It was,
It was about-
the
It was
biggest
big.
snapping
Maybe
turtle
like
I've
that,
ever seen.
Shell?
No,
She
it
was
was
a big
like
one.
this big.
Yeah.
Probably.
I have the
Easily
video.
the size
I have
of
the
this
video.
thing.
It's like that big.
We'll give you a little video of
It's
this.
huge.
Bye, turtle.
See you, bud.
Good job.
Let me help you out.
Rub his belly. They like that.
Good job, pal.
He's gonna.
There's a
taste this-
leech on him. Look at that nasty thing. You guys should go in the water.
Brad,
You have video of that
they
one?
ended up
I have video of
lassoing
it.
Nice.
Yeah.
it.
I do remember Ethan saying,
Hey, I thought of a really cool place to eat that.
We should probably censor. We should probably censor out the turtle part.
Is that how it went?
Is that like Samwise? Samwise to Frodo? I was
Hey,
like,
Mr. Shire,
Master Nate, I've got a place over here.
one more step and it'll be the furthest from the furthest from the Shire I've ever been.
Yeah. So we animal friendly. We love animals. We were a little curious. I'm gonna
Yes,
say some
we
of the
were.
guys were curious. We got the little turtle
More
out of
than
the water
others.
for a little bit.
Yep.
Checked him out, and then we just gently released him back into the wild where he lived forever.
Yeah.
And I gotta imagine he went back to his turtle friends and
All
said,
kinds
"You
of
are not
stories,
gonna
yeah.
believe what just happened to
It's
me."
in the
I've
video.
been
You're like,
eating at this same place for 20 years. These people
Yank me out the
they
water.
yanked me out of the water.
Prance me around like I'm a little show pony. Yeah. So we put the turtle back, uninjured people, unharmed. All we were doing was
Yep.
just getting to know nature.
getting to
That's
know
it.
him. Well,
That's
and
it.
to try
And
to
we
try to
also-
just get him out of there because he's like,
Relocated our tent.
Yeah.
Our hammocks got relocated after that because I couldn't get it out of my head that I was going to get up to pee in the middle of the night or something and this, no shoes on, get a toe bit off.
yeah.
So I was like, that's
Best
not worth
case
it.
scenario.
Yeah.
And then that was my first night hammocking. And I remember I had no tarp because it wasn't supposed to rain. So I was just staring at the stars and there was just a nice little sway.
Sold.
And I was thinking, there's nothing like this. But there was a little bit
Oh,
of the.
and it was warmer though.
Yeah, it wasn't
Trappers
bad.
Lake
That was
night
the
was
nicest
the
night.
warmest night, like 50, mid 50s, upper 50s or something like that.
Yeah, it was comfy. I remember though thinking like the vulnerability of being in a hammock though is you have no warning.
No,
like
you're a
in a
snack.
tent,
You're
at
just
least you
hanging.
can like If there's presses
Chuck
against,
style.
like, but like in a hammock, it's like, oh, my butt's gone.
Yeah. Last year, I remember it had to be true that there was a little raccoon walking around like underneath of me and going around because I could hear his little hands. And I was just laying there just waiting for his little hand to just reach up and just touch my butt or something because I was like, I didn't like that. But this year I slept like a stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to sleep that night too. Traps. I did not sleep the night before for being completely vulnerable with each other. There was a whole lot of shivering and convulsing from not having the correct sleeping equipment.
Yeah, but I mean, we hiked 15 miles too. So
Yeah, that'll
that's
put you to
gonna
sleep.
Pass you out pretty easy.
That helps so much.
Then I dosed up with a little melatonin
There it
and something else. I think it was just melatonin.
A lot of ibuprofen.
Yeah.
The
800s.
I did an 800 ibuprofen
Matt
that
passes
night.
out those
Gone.
things like he's like a
Pez
pusher.
dispenser.
You could start
Like,
calling him the
First one's
pharmacy.
free.
Hey man, you guys want an
Draw
ID? You
you
want an
in.
800? He's got like a fur coat on. Like, where'd you get the fur coat? All right, day three. Day three, I'm gonna say it was my favorite day.
Yeah, for sure.
Hands down my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There
all
was
the
so
scenery,
much
right?
Yeah.
packed in and baptisms.
Baptism.
Yep.
There was so much
Yes.
like in that day that was just, which it's also the day that I got the least amount of footage, I feel like. Which is such a bummer. We saw coves, we walked through coves. So we saw super awesome
Waterfall.
rocks. Waterfall, spray falls.
Spray
Yeah.
falls. Favorite part of that day though was Chuck and I. Months ago, Chuck came up to me and was like, "Hey man, I've been wanting to get baptized. Would it be weird if I got baptized when we were on our hike?" And I was like, "Dude, I was thinking the same exact thing. I wanted to do that." So then we started sharing it, and then other dudes were like, "I want to get baptized too." So of all the places, Chapel Beach.
Come on now.
Cool.
Yeah, what are you gonna
It's
do?
biblical.
That was so cool, and that was definitely my favorite day. But that was my favorite part was just to be out in the water, watching grown men get baptized, and I even get. I got a little bit of it.
It's okay.
I got a little
Yeah.
bit of the goosebumps, but that was just. It was beautiful. That was so cool.
It was a pretty populated beach too for the area too. It was kind of cool just to be there. It was funny. The picture was hilarious because we all bathed beforehand, so we're all like soapy and like
Sudsed up.
passing the bar of soap around. People are like juggling the thing of soap, like barely keeping it together, and then it's like baptisms, anyone?
Yeah.
And then we went for it.
Dude, that
It's
was
fun.
really cool though. Because I've had in my mind for like a while about getting baptized. Because I was baptized when I was very like young, like probably like Bear's age, probably like 10 or something. And I remember getting baptized. I remember like Pastor Charles King, he baptized me, and but this past like year or so, it's really been on my heart. Like I just wanted to do it again. And then it was just super special to do it with like my friends, like good friends.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like it was. I kind of wanted to just be off the radar with it. I mean, now we're talking about it, and everyone who's listening is here. But just for that moment to have that, like,
And we didn't film it. Like
yeah,
there was
it's
something
just-
kind of special even about that too. Like it was just like the only memory, just that
was
time
awesome.
spent. It was cool.
I prayed about that event, like getting to baptize you, and I was not preparing anything to say, but I just knew that it was going to be like very spiritual, especially you and I getting to do it together until I hit the water. And then as soon as I hit the water, like all of that, the spiritual, just for me, it kind of froze. So
Because he was so cold.
I dove, like these guys were coming at me because I was only waist deep,
Yeah.
and everybody's splashing me, and I'm like legitimately getting mad because I don't
like
do well in
cold
cold water.
It's like a
It just didn't.
like a manatee.
It didn't
They're
sit
like
well
the
with
warm,
me.
shallow water.
It wasn't the beautiful dream that Brad hoped it would be.
So then now we're about to baptize, and I had to go under. And when I came up, my back completely locked up. So I just froze in this manner to where everybody thought I was joking, but I was legitimately not able to breathe because my back muscles
The
were so
800s
seized.
couldn't do anything to that.
It was
And
not
it's
pulling
not
out.
dramatic. It was really that cold. Like I
was-
could see how that could happen because it was really cold. Like it took my breath away when I went under.
I was not prepared for that. So then when I, came up to my brother to be baptize him, my brain it didn't work. So I was
Yeah.
basically like in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy
And
Spirit.
he wasn't even
then
going
I
to say
left.
that. He was just going to be like, I'm just going to put you, like, dunk me.
And
he
I
wanted
remember-
to dunk me like he was like my older brother. I was just like, get in the water.
He had to ask.
I was like,
he was like, dude, do it the right way.
Do it
Yeah, he was trying to
And
say
I was
like,
just thinking,
Listen,
I'm a
in the name
pastor.
of God or whatever.
Why are we even out? He's like, why are we even out here? I can't. He's trying to baptize me.
Little T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
And then I baptized Chuck,
Yep.
and I did it the right way because I was, because I wasn't, I was so okay
Also a
with
little
it.
bit more fluffy than
Oh,
me.
then after
Yeah,
Brad,
that's
after
true. I
Brad
got a
was
layer
getting
of
out,
blubber.
Oh,
Brad
yeah.
he was leaving to get out of the water because he was dying of cold.
He was
And we were
cold.
still going.
And I said,
"You're just like, I see you guys are still getting baptized."
I want Brad to
Bye.
baptize me too.
Which was totally fictitious
And then he's
because
like,
I
"What?"
stopped and
And
turned
then-
around because I would have done it.
And you could know.
And then I saw the
he
look
says
on
that,
his
But you
face.
could see
Oh, there is
him thinking there's other people out there
Yeah, someone
who could
else will do
baptize you. Like looking around the room, like, does anybody else want to baptize Andy? Because I'm already like I'm almost out. of
Send
this
someone
cold
else,
water.
Lord.
Did he really say that?
No,
No.
his eyes did.
His eyes were just
His
full of
eyes looked at me
fear
and
and
looked around like, "Are you guys
apprehension."
being serious?"
Panic that I have to come back out
Yeah.
there. What else is
And I
gonna
was just like-
lock up?
This whole spiritual moment was gone.
Oh,
The moment
man.
Brad hit
Hey,
the
it,
ice water.
it wasn't about that. It wasn't about that. It was just about the camaraderie,
No, it is about
the
it's a
brotherhood.
spiritual
Yeah.
thing.
For
It's-
me, it was about survival. Okay, I needed to get out of there.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was awesome, though. I really did love
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah.
love
That was
that.
my favorite part.
Yep. So then we continued from there, had lunch there, continued on, saw all the amazing.
I'm sorry. Side note: during the baptisms, all the little niños were sleeping on the beach like babies.
Landon,
they were.
Landon was with us.
Landon was the only man
Yep.
there. The other
We made
The
a
other
pact,
kids.
though.
The other kids
we
that
made
were
a
in the
kids
forest.
that talked
father-son
earlier.
pact that if I win it, because I knew I had to go in because I told you I'd baptize you.
That he
So
would
I
go
kind
in,
of suckered
yeah.
him into it and said, "Hey, if I go in the water, you're going with me," and we shook on it.
Connor, Seth, and Ethan, little Ethan. Well, I say little Ethan because you're big Ethan. All slept through the whole thing.
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
like
they did.
Passed out in the sand
like
because it was warm.
baby seals laying there.
Because they had,
Missed the whole thing. Literally, Connor was like, "You guys get baptized?
You got baptized?
You're
been baptized.
not baptized."
But those guys slept on the ground again that night too,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Did.
Well, Seth and
Connor
did.
Yeah, Seth and Connor slept in the dirt, and so I kind of expected the first time that we took a pit stop, they were
They
going
were
to
gonna be
crash.
Yeah.
so-
There's no way you're getting good sleep. But you know the best part about having Ethan and Connor and Landon and Seth there was the fact that like we've been together since what, 9th grade. We've been friends since 9th grade, and we've all like journeyed through our spiritual walk. And then
When Brad
meeting
says we,
Ethan-
he means these guys, not
yeah,
me.
yeah. Ethan was in
like,
diapers
First grade.
probably when we were there. But
I
it
was just a
was
kid
them-
running through the woods.
It was them being able to
child.
see us. I got the mic now.
Oh,
It was
sorry.
them being
sorry.
able to see us in our relationship, and because they knew where we've come from, and then being able to see the camaraderie that we had on that trip, and that that it was a godly trip. We had fun and we did cool stuff, but
Had heart
at
to
the
heart.
same we had
Yeah.
heart to heart. Everybody had heart to heart. Like I was alone with
Yeah.
Seth for a while and got some good conversation with him. So
Well, that's the best part to me is just having when you have like the relationship of God amongst the whole like tribe there. It's just like there's just deep water everywhere. Like you can just go deep into conversation with God, with somebody about God, or just with life stuff. It's just awesome.
Yeah, because the conversation constantly was from deep to deep with just people giving testimony while you're hiking for 15 miles. There's a lot of time to talk and just
Yeah.
get
to know
talk through
somebody.
stuff with somebody else and see where they're at. And we're all headed towards Jesus, so let's see what that looks like in everybody's life. That was really cool.
So yeah, day 3
Day 3.
finished it out after
Day
that.
3 woke up coldest night, I think.
yeah, I remember the morning we woke up. We couldn't have a fire.
Couldn't have a fire. That might have been why it felt
okay.
so cold.
Well, after Chapel Beach, we ended up at Mosquito Beach. Was
Mosquito
that
River.
night, Mosquito River. that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
Okay,
where
we got to
couldn't have
talk
a fire.
about Ant.
the
So
deer.
that night, these guys go. Brad, I think, went too, but I don't know if you swam. But they all went to go swim.
I did not.
or shower in the water or whatever. And it's only me and Ethan Wall and Andrew
Two Ethans.
Miron. And so Andrew has to go to the bathroom, so he goes way out into the woods to go to the bathroom. But meanwhile, there's this
I
very
have footage of the deer on my phone a little bit. It's not the greatest, but this little deer.
yeah.
She came. It was a little doe, and it came right up, probably 15
It would
feet
circle
away.
our camp.
Super
And she was just like
desensitized.
eating and didn't care anything about us. And then Andrew went out to have a grumpy and leaned against a tree. Deer popped
Wouldn't
out.
you know it? That deer peeked,
deer's
peeked
like,
its head right around the tree, right into his face.
He said literally comes out like from behind the tree.
He said he
looks
could
at him.
touch it.
Yeah.
If he reached out, he could have touched it.
Startles him
Yeah.
to where he's done. He's not going to the bathroom anymore. He's
Hey,
done.
Andrew. Got a really funny thing going.
that was going on through the whole thing.
Hey,
Hey, yo, Andrew.
Yo, Andrew.
What you doing in my woods? I'm a button buck.
why are you out here, Andrew?
Button buck.
Yo, Andrew.
You got any buttons, Andrew?
Yeah. So startles him to the point, disoriented.
He just
him,
starts running.
has no idea which way is back to where we are. You're just in the woods. Now he's out there with
Lost
his
in the
little
woods
button
being
buck.
hunted by a deer.
Yeah. Total
You know you
role
need to come
reversal.
back here.
Total role reversal. Now the hunter has become the prey, and he starts yelling because
he starts yelling, Ethan!
because he's logical because there's two Ethans, so he's
thinking,
this
this is my best bet. I got
Two guys that should answer.
Roll the dice. And neither of us answered.
Nobody answers. And
I didn't hear him.
yeah.
Ethan Wall did hear him. He
Ethan
was
Wall
like,
heard
I don't,
him and just
I don't
didn't
care.
answer.
My brother-in-law.
He's like, my brother, who cares? He's probably just
can
being
die.
fun. He's funny like that. He just randomly yells my name in the woods, and no answers. Took him a half an hour to find the campsite again. So he was wandering around the woods, just listening, hoping to hear us.
Wandering around
Could you
like
No
imagine the
idea.
panic that would set in?
I would
because
not like
it was
that.
getting dark.
It was,
he was
yeah.
like Frodo looking for a golem to help him to the get to more.
told, precious.
And there he was, like probably talking to himself.
Yeah,
Probably.
probably.
Trying to think if he's good.
Probably
Is
going
there
back
any
and
way
forth
out
like
of this?
Smeagol.
Why shouldn't I keep it?
It's a little deer. I can't do Smeagol. I just went to like a pirate or something.
You did.
Yeah, I got nothing
Oi, mate. Oi, mate. It's my ring.
It's the Australian version. A lot of people haven't seen it.
Oh, these dingoes are going to get my ring, I say. Anyway, so Andrew found his way back.
Finds his way
and
back.
we woke up the next morning and super cold. Couldn't have a fire.
Couldn't have a fire at Mosquito Beach.
Everybody's
You know
warming up
why I
around
think it
their
is?
their heaters.
Yeah.
I think it's because Mosquito Beach and those areas are very easily day hikes in and out, and I think the rangers don't let you have fires at certain ones because of alcohol being involved. It's easy to get alcohol.
That makes sense.
Oh, because people would just come hiking in with keggers and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
And
bringing
make a
in
big old
goo
mess
and-
Like
back there.
like Pippin and Mary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rambunctious youth.
And yeah, then one of my favorite things of that day, we're gonna have to wrap this last
yeah.
day up. We're on the last
Okay.
day, but one of my favorite things on that day was it was Sunday, so we did like church
Yeah.
in our own way, where you put on worship music and we just walked to worship music for like an hour.
Yeah, I did some singing.
Yeah, it was
Just,
nice.
like, out in God's country. It was awesome.
Didn't see like anybody else, so that was cool.
Yeah, and then we just finished it out. Came out of the woods
Strong.
strong, right on time. Everybody was there.
Didn't get a single blister this year.
I ended up with a couple blisters because I think the shoes I have are great. These Adidas ones that I bought, but they're great for just normal stuff. Like I told Kate, I love them in the fall, winter, and spring here because they're waterproof. But to do 15 miles at a time in them, I think the toe box is too tight. So by day 3, I was starting to get some hot spots. And the last day, they fully developed into blisters. So I had like 3 when I got done. But nothing that was that bad.
Yep.
Came out of the woods. Everybody loved it. It was freaking awesome. Could not have had a better time, I don't think.
No, it was perfect. Didn't
That was
rain.
cool. Beautiful weather, except for the night times.
Talking to you.
I would have traded the
Yes, young man in the front.
Yes.
Sam.
beautiful weather,
Yeah.
except for the night
was
times, or
chilly.
even with it being chilly,
At least
just
it
having
had-
the right thing to sleep in,
Yep.
then that would have just been absolutely perfect.
Yeah, so you should go. Anybody watching this, you should go hike the Pictured Rock North
Yeah.
Country Trail. It's
Even if you did
amazing.
little sections of it, if you weren't up to doing the whole 4 days out in the woods, pick some of those day hikes, 6 to 10 miles or something like that, man. It's like crazy beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's how you send it, I think.
Just
right?
get outside.
Just get outside. Go see
outside.
something pretty.
Created.
Go look at some pretty stuff that God made.
Yeah, I'd like to do a quick little side project here,
Yeah.
though.
I think
What do
I
you
feel
got?
like an
What do you got?
award is in store here for our friend Andy. Just feel like there's maybe the one ring. We told ourselves before we start this. I was like, I have the one ring. I was like, let's see how many Lord of the Rings jokes we can get Andy to do, and then we'll get.
He showed me
Wow,
the
I
ring.
kind of went above and beyond.
You
that
did.
with it,
Yeah,
right?
you really did. That's why I was laughing so hard.
We were laughing.
Yeah.
The best part too was when Ethan brought it out of the house. Lydia's like, "Why do you still have it?" He's like, "Cause I don't know. I've been waiting
I've
for
been
some
waiting for a
random
moment."
moment. I
Such a
think
time
this
as
is
this,
it."
Lydia. For such a time as this.
Yes. So it's literally the one ring with the
We're
Lord
going
of the
on an
Rings
adventure, Andrew.
I've sent
what
out
you
that
do.
meme to people
Yeah.
so many times. Like, basically, anytime I'm going to do anything,
Going on an
it's
adventure.
deer hunting or going on a boat or going to swim or just walking out the door.
It's going to work. All right, people. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening, and hanging out with us. Be sure to like it, subscribe it, and share it with your friends. And we'll catch you later. Yeah? Guys, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having
thank you
us,
for
guys.
being on the show.
Cheers
Stay coffee.
to all of you.
Mine's real.
Yo, Andrew!
Yo, Andrew. You're all right.
Hey, yo, Andrew, I saw what you did in my woods. That's all right by me. You okay in my book, kid?